Krampus, episode 6. How do you follow up episode 5? And I thought to myself, episode 5 was full of so much chaos, so many zombies, so many deaths, so many uncertainties and twists and turns. This is probably going to be an episode where we kind of take a breath. And I will say that is kind of the case. And I didn't like most of the episode because we do stupid things. But the way it wraps up at the end, it was almost too fast. We kind of went along and then suddenly we jetted and we did something. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think of the pacing, but if I had any big complaint, that was the main reason I had a complaint about the show. So after all that, and you have basically Joel and Ellie, they basically have the guns on a couple in a very remote cabin. It's in the winter, middle of nowhere. And they're basically trying to figure out how to find Tommy. They're pressuring this couple who basically they're just irrelevant. And then we move on with Joel and Ellie traveling, and they're going to have to cross, quote, the river of death. And you have them sort of like the bonding moments and jibber jabber nonsense. And what would you do if there was a cure? And Joel's like being a sheep farmer, and she talks about being an astronaut who loves Sally Ride. Oh, I hate the Sally Ride love. By the way, it's just. I know she's sad and she tragically died. I got that, but okay. So whatever. I diverged my attention, I guess. So she's trying to learn how to shoot. She's, trying to do all these different kinds of things, standing guard, all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. Whenever it starts to get to like when we're actually in the apocalypse and things are really dangerous, there's no sense of urgency or paranoia. Like, so when they're going to cross this bridge, he fires a shot and there's no movement. I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't move either. But this bridge is massively long, you're completely exposed. I don't think he even has his gun out, and they're just walking. I'd be like trying to figure out how to carefully hug the edge, staying low, minimize where you'd be at risk. There's no running. And then as soon as they're on the other side, they're just walking around and letting they're out wide in the open again. Ellie's just making noise. She's trying to learn to whistle and cutting up and doing her thing again, right? Oh, well, finally the action kicks in and they're surrounded on horseback. And there's this dog who can like sniff out infection. I don't know. I guess after this stuff's been going on for 20 years, it's only fair that some dog would learn how to do that. And of course, there's tension because you don't know how the dog's going to respond to Ellie. The horseback takes them. The group of horseback, they obviously they're fine, and they move to a fort. They actually have a fort that's been retrofitted. It's really nice, and it literally looks like normal life there. They've pirated electricity off the dam, so they have lights running everywhere. They have a little town, little city, kind of looks like an Old West meets campground, like a little touristy area kind of thing. So, and this is where we find Tommy. So he found Tommy. So congrats, Joel. You found Tommy. Well, come to find out, despite Ellie's rudeness, it manifests really quickly that Tommy is now married to this lady named Maria. And there's little comments here and there about everything. There's even a communism drop because, why not? They're having drinks and discussing the fireflies in Colorado and how Maria's pregnant. And then there was this weird scene, by the way, of Ellie. So she's learning to shower, coming out of the shower, and Maria had left her a menstrual cup with like a little pamphlet. I thought this was very, very strange. I don't know. It was just the idea that you would just leave this for some girl. And I don't know. They're playing it up like she's even younger than I thought she was. I thought she was supposed to be more like 16, 17. Then they like play it up that she's more like 14, 15. Like she's even younger than I thought she was. Anyway, they're cutting her hair and they're talking about Joel's dead daughter and blah, blah, blah. And reality is, there's a film playing at one point. So it's a metaphor for the Joel and Ellie relationship about going to Colorado or not, because Joel's not doing well. That was really the foreshadowing here is that Joel's not well. I don't know if he's having panic attacks, just a breathing problem, heart condition. They just keep dropping breadcrumbs, but they don't fully commit. All of this secrecy about her being immune to me is the same stupid secrecy problem we have. I think like if you just had some people who would compare notes, I don't think it would make less sense. I think there's a way to work through that. But Joel's so scared that they'll just kill her. because they'll see this scar. It's clearly a scar compared to the bite that we have seen on other people. She's clearly running around and not completely infected or crazy. So I don't understand why Tommy would not tell his wife and agree to just sneak out and take this kid to Colorado. Like, that's insane. Tommy, she would shoot you. I don't know why would they even be allowed to leave? Because they know too much about your camp. And again, the stupid apocalyptic scenarios that are contrived just for the nature of the thing instead of coming up with things that would make sense. You know what I mean? And again, it's this stupid, slow, long, plodding around, riding a horse, chit-chat, chattering along, and out in the wide open. There's literally nothing. And they're just like, moseying along. I'm like, if there was anyone around, they'd just shoot you. So I have to be honest, the worst part of the episode for me was when they're coming up on this city. They're going to Colorado, and they're on horseback. And it's literally like the same shot from Walking Dead season 1. I think it was actually like the banner and the poster of Walking Dead season 1 was him riding the horse into Georgia. And it was just like, oh gosh, come on now, be yourselves. And by the way, they come across these monkeys at the school. I guess it's supposed to be scientific-y. At one point, it looks like science to me. And it was like one Petri dish and a couple of vials. Like, there's more in a Walmart aisle in some ways. Anyway, whatever. But there's these monkeys running around. Must escape from the lab. By the way, lab monkeys are mean. They're going to be starving and very dangerous and carrying God knows what disease. So if you're ever in an apocalypse and there are monkeys, don't get into the monkeys. The monkeys are just as dangerous or more dangerous than the humans are, by the way. I don't know. They're walking around, and then ultimately, as you would guess, there's going to be conflict. There's other raiders. We refer to the other humans that are walking around in their own little group as a raider. I don't know. I don't understand. I guess I understand everyone for themselves and whatever. They're just like these faceless entities. And I guess this is where the video game element comes into play right there. They're just these characters in the video game. But when this all happens and the attack and the fight happens, even though Joel wins, he gets stabbed in the belly and he's bleeding out. And then as they're riding along, Joel's dying. He falls off the horse, right? And that's where it's going to stop. By the way, they ended up playing like a knockoff version of a Depeche Mode song. And I hated it. Hated it, by the way. I know they do this. I know they take songs and you have someone do a cover or do some new version. That one did not work for me. I'm probably just being a little too close to home with that. So definitely not the worst show in the world. It's fine. This episode is again back to that mediocrity where things just happen because, and we don't really know how things would behave in an apocalypse. We have all these characters. Like, if we don't ever go back to the fort, did any of that really matter or not? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I know that I know at least a little bit about where the game goes. So I don't think I care for this constant introduction of characters that don't really matter. I just don't. I really think it would be more interesting of a TV show. And if that's the best way to adapt the game or that's the best interpretation of the game, then so be it. But that doesn't make it great. It doesn't make it awesome. So anyway, that's my take on it. Love to hear from you guys. Thank you again for watching. I am Pops.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing